You're watching CK Media's CK News with me, Charles Kane. And today we're talking about something very, very important. It's the nuclear war, or at least the threat of it. And where am I today? Well, right now I'm standing outside of the HMS Alliance, one of Britain's submarines, which is pretty cool. It's from World War II times. This was before nuclear days. So this was diesel powered. Yeah, I mean, you could take it to Shell, get it filled up. You know what I'm saying? Put some wheels on it. Yeah, all right. Back in 2014, the US accused Russia of breaking the Intermediate Nuclear Forces Treaty, which basically says that either country should not have land-based nuclear missile launchers that can be launched within the ranges to hit targets between the ranges of 500 kilometers to 5,500 kilometers. So this is like, between countries distance. The US called Russia out on their missile, the 9M729, which is apparently launched from this giant, it looks like a truck, with like a pickup truck, with a nuclear weapon on the back. Andrea Thompson, the US Undersecretary for Arms and Security, said that unsurprisingly and disappointingly, we weren't able to break any new ground on the dismantling of their 9M2, of their missile, and they accused them of pushing false information, those Russians. False information isn't unheard of for Russians. I mean, they sponsored that state doping Olympic cheating program, didn't they? So I'm not particularly surprised about them lying. Dmitry Peskov, Putin's secretary, counter-accused the US by saying that they didn't want to continue talks and they were being uncooperative, basically, and that they were looking for reasons to sign off this treaty and to use intermediate weapons of their own, basically accusing them of cheating first so they can, go and break the rules as well. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm by the beach now. It's nice here. I got kicked out of my last spot, no doubt. The guys were like, this place is closed. You should get on out of here. You have to ask our PR company, our PR managers or whatever, if you can film here. You have to ask permission. And I was like, you know what, bun that. I see you later, baby. Oh, it's a wet doggy! My boy, hey? Oh, you're gonna be frozen now? Oh, my boy! Hey! Oh, my doggy! Oh, no! Good boy! That's a good boy! Yeehaw! To be fair to my dog, I think I don't have a towel in the car, so I've got to go and get one now from the shop or something. I don't know. Yeah, I can't leave my dog freezing. Well, I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, baby, I'm back. Oh my. We have lost a lot of daylight, so we've got to be quick about this thing. Yeah, let's get it on. I had to go and buy the dog a towel from Home Bargains around the corner. Well, about like 20 minutes away. So yeah, let's try and do this thing. As I said in the last frame, in Europe, the US have anti-missile defense systems set up as protection. These protection methods can be changed quickly into offensive weapons. And because obviously if a missile's launching and it's about to come in and blow something up, you send a counter missile to fire and explode it. Yeah, and they also said that America have drones, nuclear-powered drones, which weren't in the treaty when the treaty was made, which doesn't break the wording of the treaty, but it does cover the ranges of the intermediate within the intermediary ranges. Russia, on the same topic of drones, this time, however, underwater drones, Russia have claimed that they've created these nuclear-powered, nuclear warhead-carrying sort of unmanned torpedo drone type things that are fired from their ships out at sea, their submarines. And these drones, they can go for extremely long distances, deep depths, and they can loiter around before they go and hit the target. According to the blueprints that Russia have released, they say that this nuclear drone that they have it carries a 6.5 meter nuclear warhead, which carries a 2 megaton power blast, which is the equivalent of 2 million tons of TNT, which I'll show you in this catastrophic blow. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I wouldn't want that going off next to me. Whether or not this is true that they have such a thing is it's up to anyone's guess, really, because they would like you to think that they have a nuke that's 2 times as powerful as the B-38, which is the American strongest nuke. You know, that they can fire and it's undetectable by radar systems because it's a drone that's being manned underwater. It's not like a submarine. So it can go a lot faster, a lot deeper, and it's nuclear powered as well. It's got a nuclear reactor on it. So when they're going to be, you know, let me give you an idea. A nuclear reactor, it becomes really, really, really expensive to make the smaller you make it. It's like a laptop, right? The thick, chunky ones, they're usually cheaper than the really thin ones, like the MacBook Pro or Air or, you know, something like that. And it's kind of the same with nuclear reactors, except even more radically expensive than, you know, twice the size ones. So when you are talking about like a really small reactor, you know, placed on something that's ultimately just going to be blown up, I mean, this expensive nuclear reactor just going to be blown up, you know. It seems kind of like a waste, really. I mean, if I'm going to liken it to something, it's kind of like saying you're going to ram raid a shop, you're going to ram raid a liquor store with a Lamborghini, if you know what I mean. Like, you know what I mean? The size of this nuclear reactor, they've got the diagram showing that the reactor's probably around the size of 3 meters, which is incredibly tiny. I mean, that's ridiculously small. Think about it this way: if you think that they do have those technologies, then why haven't they been able to create a nuclear-powered car? I'm sure they would have created something like that, because that would have, if you had the technology to make really small reactors, they would have made nuclear-powered cars by now, right? And they don't. So why are Russia being funny about this intermediate nuclear pact? Why are they creating these, you know, naughty missiles? And why have they, said that they've got this, super nuke? I call it super because it's like super undetectable and, super powerful, double as powerful as the American one. Why are they showing their big guns? Well, when the nuclear treaty, the INF, was made, it was only between the United States and Russia, and it didn't account for big, now big countries that have nuclear arms, such as China, and India and Pakistan. And those countries, they're allowed to have intermediate range nukes. They're allowed to, because they weren't in the treaty when it was written, when Ronald Reagan and, Gorbachev were writing it down. And they were saying, like, yeah, we're not gonna do any of that. And that was in 1988. Russia queried that point of the nuclear treaty about 12 years ago during the Bush administration. They were having second thoughts about being in the pact themselves. So, yeah, it's sort of like they're the ones limited. The big boys are limited, but the smaller guys around them, they're not limited. So I think they're kind of feeling a bit left out, which is really dangerous, I really think Russia, Putin, is just going to sit by and watch Pakistan create intermediate-range nukes, free-willed, and China and Korea create these nukes, while they're not allowed to. Russia, these big boys, come off it. Of course they've made that nuke with the intermediate range. So, yeah.